What's up,
Big
big
You've been out for a ride.
Yep, just got home. Story of my life. This is the outfit that everybody recognizes me in. Or let me put this cat in before I get too hammered and lose her. Oh God! I agree, man. I can't wait till I'm not working 6 days a week and wearing freaking sanitizer as cologne and putting on a mask every day, man. Fuck.
Looks like you got some sun out there.
Yeah. So today's been beautiful. It's been, I don't know, 61 was the high. Me and my buddy, actually we kind of grew up with him, Bobby K. He's an old pro skater from San Carlos. Him and I raced together last year, so we went and I showed him a couple of the new trails over here that are pretty badass.
Funny thing about the trails out in Pacifica, because I'd ask you to recommend what's the most stunning mountain bike ride out there, and it's like, well, okay, the one you can talk about.
I can talk about them all. Actually, my buddy Keggy's getting me a Hero 8. My buddy Scabs has one, and I'll send you some footage. They're all insane. It's just, we got a couple cutty ones now, like 3 of them that nobody knows about that we just want to keep on the DL for as long as we can. Strava app fucks everything up, so there's so many good ones here, man. I'm so blessed to live where I am, with the surf and the mountain biking, and we got a skate park right down the street, and I can pop over to Half Moon Bay and go ride. They have some insane trails over there now, like bike park style, and then you got the jetty, and they got 2 skate parks and a ramp right on the beach at the jetty. There's a ramp at the beach at the jetty. I don't know if you know that. There's like a full 24-foot wide mini ramp that's at the jetty. Yeah, remember we used to park
on the other side of the highway there?
Oh yeah, it's full. Tony Hawk's brother built it, and it's full legit. It's insane. It's insane.
What we grew up with, man,
Oh,
skateboarding
yeah, right?
was a crime, man. They would
yeah.
come after you. You were disturbed goods if you were holding a skateboard. Nobody wanted none of that. Except the police.
Everything was a crime, dude. Come on. We were all rebels, man. We were just, I'm so grateful to have all, you guys that I grew up with that molded me into what I am now. I've taken so many different parts from so many different friends from you guys, and just kind of, took it and ran with it,
Well, you supercharged it and got a lot of the best out of it. I mean, I remember riding over 92 in the van again, just you and Bardo. Just like, crazy times, but just this burning desire to surf. Just like, that's what mattered. To go on some crazy ass adventure out into, some unknown continent of cold water surfing that was just unbelievable. Even if there was no lockdown, there's vast stretches of the coast that nobody goes to.
Like the first time I went down to Santa Cruz was with you and Barbo, and I think Derek, and you were driving the van again, and there was a point where you're changing while you're driving and you're steering with your teeth, and I was just like, I never drove a car before. I'm like, damn, this is badass. And then we go down to, it was the kook part of Santa Cruz, Cowles, but like that was the cheating ground, like that thing gave you so much confidence to be able to paddle into waves. And I was super tiny then. So like I had the disadvantage, but the advantage because I was so light and I could stand on a 5'11" surfboard and it would float me, so I had a little bit more of an advantage than all you people, so, but that was, like still to this day, I'm like, oh my, that changed my life freaking for sure. Like it just gave me the freaking bug,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, growing up where we did, I mean, you're going to have a serious run-in with drowning if you're going to learn how to surf, because you're going to go out to some crazy ass beach. You think you're going to want to paddle all the way out and wait for the biggest waves, and you really don't. I mean, I remember like people just getting sucked out some good-sized Venice beach and just like dragged into some dark hole, and you come up and they're like, "Oh, your board was tombstoning up and down."
Yeah, I've had some near drowning episodes. Like, I went to whatever 13 different countries and went to Indonesia 4 times, and man, all the dudes on the boat, there's egos on there, and I had no ego, man. It would be big, and I'd wake up in the morning at 8 when they're, or whatever, 7 when they're checking the waves, and if it was too big, I would crack the beer, and I would be like, "Oh, I sprained my wrist," and that was a joke.
I remember you describing getting caught inside in this bay, I think in Nicaragua or somewhere, Central South America, where, you were surfing in this bay and this like 20-foot wave just came bearing down on you and just a friend out there, just absent, empty ocean, you, a friend, and this, big lump of water coming down on you.
Oh yeah, that was El Salvador. That was 1999. Man, I don't see these are post 1999 boards, but yeah, that was the trip. I met one of my best friends of all time, Dave Keggy and Joe Howarth and Garth Berenger and Sky Goyo, and um, yeah, man, we get there and it's all right point breaks, and we get. I mean, to go to El Salvador back then, it was so gnarly, and they pick us up, and they're telling us like, "Oh my God, we got the 50-year swell," and yeah, and I brought a I brought a 6'3" and a 6'1".
Well, those are guns for you.
I know, right? So the first day, I think we surfed a spot called Lucky Man's, and I think Keggy might have some photos of it. It was like basically like you're surfing. It never breaks. It breaks like once every 10 years. It was like in this complete east part of the bay, and we it was like basically surfing Pleasure Point, but not as good and not as long. And we got it all to ourselves. 5 of us or 4 of us, and it was mellow, like not gnarly. It was like, whatever, 4 to 6 foot. And then the next day we checked like the beach breaks, and they're like 15 foot. And then we went to the main spot. It was called Flores. And I have video of it. It was like a downsize of like Mavericks. It was like 20 foot, like super hollow out the back, but then the inside looks like it like mushed out. It was like a full sand point. And our tour guide was like, I've never seen it this big, but it looks clean and it looks insane on video. And we, freaking ended up, me, Keggy, Garth, and Lewis paddled out there. And he told us like, whatever your instincts are, paddle. Once you get to the point, you paddle straight to the middle of the ocean. If you paddle out like past the point, you're gonna get sucked into this vortex. And he was so right. So we paddle out, and I'm like, I remember we have video of me counting like 37 set waves, and then we all jump in. It's like kind of like set up like a jetty, like on this like natural rock wall, and then we start paddling out. I'm on my 6'3" gun, and yeah, I'm paddling out, and Keggy's on like a 6'8" or 7'0", and he makes it out super no problem. And then I'm like, oh, I see a set out the back, and like your instincts are to go the opposite way, and I did the opposite way, and I paid the huge price. Like, I've never duck dove. Like it was 20 foot waves. 2 of them to my dome. Like all my neck muscles tensed up. Like I got so drilled and got dragged down probably 200 yards. And he was telling us, if you get in trouble, don't go past, because they had a big old Coca-Cola sign on the cliff, for advertising. Because if you go there, you're dead. You're going to be washed into the reef. And I remember coming up and my board's tombstoning and like looked, and I'm like pretty close to that Coke sign and like triple overhead white water. So I started just paddling instinctively towards the beach, like for 5 or 6 duck dives, like triple overhead water duck dives. And I kept getting pushed closer and closer to the Coke sign. And I just said, I'm going to take this, and boogie boarded it in, and I made it around this cliff and got out and never caught a wave. And Keggy caught one wave and got closed out, and he came in and was like been there, done that, never did it. Yell at him more. We got 4 days of probably the best footage I've ever gotten on video. Wow. And we went to this other spot, and the camera melted in the car. And we had like 5 days of the best surf of my life. We had no video camera. But yeah, that was insane. El Salvador in 1999 was by far my number 1 surf trip of all time. Hands down. Yeah. So I'll walk you through them. I got let me think when this was. So yeah, let's see how this thing works. So here's the first one. There we go.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is my first coal. Actually, I got 2. So I went to Indo in 2002. I got these 2 as a set. This one's a 6-1. We didn't have leaders back then. And believe it or not, this board was supposed to have this airbrush, and this board was supposed to have this airbrush. But this is a 6-1. I rode it twice. And hanging on the rafters in Indo, we had a huge storm, and it blew off, and it snapped the nose off.
Oh.
So I had to get it fixed. Well, I couldn't get it fixed on the boat. So basically, in 2002, I rode this board exclusively, which really helped my surfing. This is a 6'6" double wing swallow, because I only had one board after this one broke, and this thing was sick. Rode it from waves from 2 to 15 foot, double wing swallow.
Wow,
it was insane. That's your California bear, remember?
You came up with the graphic for that.
Yeah, there's the Yeti, dude. It's the most classic. Look at his bump, dude.
He kind of looks like, I dare say, Roger almost a little, but it's like a built bear.
Look at his eyes. It's so good. But yeah,
that bear is styling.
Right. And then we're going to, actually, this one's next. Messed up the timeline. So this is probably, so that's 2002. This was probably 2005. Cole made me this sick little 4-fin, glass on fins on the front, but a 4-fin in the rear, 511 bat tail, little epoxy board. This thing was sick. Rode this thing. I never traveled with it, but I rode it all over Pacifica, the city, jetty. Such a good board. It was super fun. And then, let me think. Then I got think I got this one. Then the Almeric. I got 2 in a row. This is the Pod 5, 6 trailer fin, small trailer fin, big fins. This thing could do it all. This is like my comeback board. The past 3 times I've surfed, I've ridden this thing. It has a bunch of volume. It's wide, kind of like a fish. Gets waves super easy. Brought this thing to Indo, and I think 2007, just to have it. It's a fun board. And then the same trip, this is all my artwork on the Tom Curran replica 2007 Red Beauty. This thing was super fun. I love this board, man. This thing was like, look at that thing, Curran style. Got them both on sale.
That's incredible.
Oh yeah, this board freaking. I think it's a 660, kind of higher volume, not a lot of rocker. This thing can do it all, man. I love that board. And then Teresa got me for my birthday a custom Almeric. It was a M4 back then. 6'1". It sucked. This board was the worst. Just didn't work. I don't know what was wrong with it. It just didn't work for me, man. It was just horrible. I rode it maybe 20 times, and then it went into the shed. And then I bought this. This is a Alviso carbon fiber board. I got super cheap from a buddy of mine. Board sucked. Horrible. Don't buy one. It feels like you're fucking surfing on a waterbed. Now here's the best board. Here's one of the purple ones. This thing was 2007. This is 2007. This board, this is the magic board. Cole, I rode this thing in like 4 or 5 different countries. I think it's a 511. This thing was a destroyer, man. I put so many miles on this thing. This thing was so sick, man. Rode it in Peru, rode it in Indo, Mexico. This thing was just a beast. He patented the channel rails to make it lighter. I'd still ride that thing right now, but I don't. And then I ordered, when I moved here, in 2006, I think I got these things in 2008. So my next goal is a replica of that one. This is another 5. I think this is a 511. Same. This board was super sick. Same channel bumps. Super light epoxy. This board was insane. But then I stopped traveling, so rode this all over, SF, Santa Cruz, Half Moon Bay. Super good board. And then this thing was the shit. Epoxy 5.6, bullet fish.
Heart chakra green.
What's that?
Heart chakra green there.
I know, right? That's my color. This thing's so fast. I rode this thing all over the bay. Never traveled with it. Super light, super fun. We got the RIP Taryn Hawk. Remember Taryn? He was a great dude. Miss that guy, man, every day. Yeah, man, this board. As soon as my fat ass can get in surfing shape, I'll ride that board again. And this is my 2013 14 5-fin, but I've only ridden it as a quad. I went to Nicaragua with this thing. I was barely surfing. It's a 5.9. I don't know what the hell the volume or whatever. I don't even think there was volume back then, but this thing was cool. I just was out of shape. Didn't catch a lot of waves on this thing. In Nicaragua was crowded. But yeah, that was my second to latest. And then here's my brand new board, 2015. I've never ridden it.
Oh.
Brand new, but it already has a ding in it. It's a 5.6 Bulletfish epoxy, thicker, fatter, doesn't even have wax on it.
That's all old school with the shark face.
Oh yeah,
Old and new.
I dung it with my mountain bike, but yeah, I'm looking forward to riding this thing pretty soon. Yeah, that's all I got for you. Look at that. Oh man.
And that is just a beautiful lineup of boards right there.